The Waterfront on Netflix, an explanation of its crazy conclusion. Well, everybody, let's get started. What has become commonplace in certain areas, explaining the conclusion of the most popular streaming program from the previous week is back, this time for the Waterfront. Since it's not really a mystery, giving away too much would be less enjoyable, but I already know that some of our regular readers left early, some of them before the Topher Grace episodes. And in response, I say, if you had progressed that far, you wouldn't have given up. The setup: the Buckleys own a restaurant and a fishery, but the only way they can pay off their debt is by running narcotics out of their fishing boats, which is a clearly bad plan. The hard-drinking, womanizing patriarch with a poor ticker, Harlan Buckley, Holt McCallany, had vowed to abstain from the drug trade after it resulted in the death of his father. The family was then forced back into the industry by Kane Buckley, Jake Weary, a teenage Joshua Jackson impersonator, in order to save their farm and means of subsistence from going bankrupt. While holding a torch for his high school love, Jenna, Humberly Gonzalez, Kane is also trapped in an unhappy marriage to the cold and domineering Peyton, Danielle Campbell. The restaurant is owned by the astute matriarch Belle Buckley, played by Maria Bello, who has a keen business sense. She strikes a contract with Wes, Dave Annable, a developer, in an attempt to alleviate their financial difficulties, and she begins sleeping with him. Next is Bree Buckley, played by Melissa Benoist, a sister/daughter with an alcohol problem who lost custody of her kid and is having an affair with a DEA agent she is attempting to coerce into arresting Kane. At last, we meet Harlan's illegitimate son, Shawn West, Rafael L. Silva, who works as a bartender at the restaurant and is covertly attempting to establish a relationship with his biological father and new family. This is what transpires when their intermediary, a corrupt sheriff named Clyde Porter, played by Michael Gaston, kills two of Kane's men. Things go south. After Harlan kills Clyde and installs his wife's cousin in his place, the Buckleys gain command of the local police force. With the exception of Bree's DEA lover, it essentially shields them from legal repercussions. However, Bree turns against the agent after discovering that he is targeting her whole family. The last legal danger is eliminated when she takes advantage of his heroin addiction and gives him enough to overdose. That leaves two issues: Grady, Topher Grace, the drug supply kingpin and complete psychopath, and Wes, who betrays Belle and calls in the dead on the farm. A violent turf war breaks out as a result of Harlan's resistance to Grady's attempts to coerce him into complying. A few redshirts are killed. The Buckleys had no choice but to make a deal with the Parkers, a larger drug family. However, in vengeance, Grady murders two of the Parkers' men. Grady eventually takes Bree and her son Diller captive on his boat in order to coerce Harlan into giving up his hand. As mayhem breaks out, Diller throws Bree a lifeboat to help her escape after she is tossed overboard. After Kane and Shawn rush the boat, Harlan shoots Grady in the head, killing him. The greatest excuse to see the waterfront is dead. The Buckleys are at last free now that Grady is gone. Kane goes back to Peyton again. Following her survival, Bree starts to mend her ties with the family. After gaining their confidence, Shawn is accepted as a Buckley. As the season comes to a close, Belle strikes a confidential agreement with the Parkers, agreeing to continue running the Buckley business without telling Harlan. The Parkers eliminate the prospect of foreclosure in exchange for torturing Wes. That's the main idea. What matters most for the finale, and for the next season, is that the Buckleys survive. Grady is gone, the family company is secure, for the time being, and Belle is now covertly making decisions. There is a ton of delicious, soap opera drama that isn't discussed here that makes The Waterfront an amazing show to watch.